Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Coach's Corner. Sorry about last Sunday where we didn't have one going up, but we are back this week. We appreciate all the subscribers and all the love that we're getting out there from everybody. Today I got a very special guest here. Not only is he a guest, but a very good friend of mine, Gareth McLoskey, owner of Farmer Strength Training. He comes to us today from, basically he's been in 24 hours from Ireland, London, Costa Rica. He's making a big trip out here, and he will be back on the road. But we call him Coach G, and that's how I'm going to address him. G, thank you so much for being here.
Firstly, thank you for having me. The podcast is awesome.
Appreciate it.
It seems to be growing, strength and strength.
Yeah.
So it's my pleasure to come up here and hop on.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, come on. We've been through some wars together, and, definitely a big game changer. So I'll give you my background on G, and how I met him is through our fighter Giuseppe Cusimano had went to Costa Rica to camp where G holds his camp, and we'll get into that in a few moments. I'll let him tell you about it. And we were brought together to work with this fighter, and we have formulated a good team, not only with Giuseppe, but Coach Benny Little, G, myself, have just blended into this. But let's tell everybody a little bit about the background and the beginning of Farmer Strength and what your vision is here and how it became, to be created.
Yeah. I myself am a late student of boxing. So I actually started training boxing myself in 2018. And it was during that period, that 2018-19, that I started to, think about the name Farmer Strength. My grandparents from Ireland are farmers, and I could see the similarities between just the strength training and just life on the farm.
Right, hard life.
Hard life, discipline, up every day. And, a very important part of Farmer Strength is the connection with nature, which farmers just automatically had. But I see that for an athlete to train, or anyone training, there's a deeper connection with nature that you must have if you're trying to achieve that next level. So I trademarked the name Farmer Strength in 2020. During that period, I was still training at boxing. And it was really then that I noticed some amateur fighters started to gravitate towards me for the conditioning aspect of the sport, particularly the running. I love running.
Right, you do. And I mean, the way I've watched you run and heard about how you run with our fighters is amazing. You're right there with them. But now Farmer Strength is in. Right now we're in Virginia, where you started this.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was in Virginia when I made the trademark. I was working at a boxing gym in Virginia, and I was working with Coach Ian Patterson, who now runs Richmond Boxing Club.
Shout out to Coach Patterson, Richmond.
And I was working with a successful amateur team.
Yeah.
So I was over the conditioning part and the running part. About 2021, I made the decision to move to Costa Rica. I had made a trip down there, and I just seen that this place is beautiful. The area that I looked at was where the jungle, the sea, and the mountains collide. So it offered 3 different styles of training. And when I moved down there, that's when Farmer Strength really was born. So it was. So, of course, after I moved down there, Giuseppe Cusimano reached out to me. I was down there about 2 to 3 months. And he was really the first fighter that made the voyage down to Costa Rica.
Right. Now, did that connection come out of Virginia?
That came out of his fight against Daniel Dubois.
Right.
The gym that he trained in for or prepared for in that fight
Yeah.
is where me and Giuseppe connected.
Okay. So he followed you there, and then the transition to Costa Rica with Farmer Strength.
So
Now,
basically,
that kind of brings it to for everybody. If you go to his pages and you'll see the area we're talking about, the jungle, the sea, the mountains. It's literally you're dropped in the jungle. How was that for you to adapt when you first got there? Now you're making a big move coming out of the States with this idea,
yeah,
and you're going into another country.
it really just put me into my uncomfortable zone, which is a critical part to training any fighter or any athlete. So I had to practice what I preach.
Right.
So I flew down there. I walked into boxing gyms, and I just started to volunteer my time. I started with Boxeo Capos, which is a gym that primarily helps young kids, and I just started offering, strength and conditioning classes for these kids. It was really the first time they'd seen something like that.
How did they receive you? Because I've seen some of those gyms down there, and we've talked about it. They're rural. They're not like gyms like here. They don't have equipment. You guys are working outside, wind the weather, floodlights, using whatever you have accessible. What was the response by the fighters and the coaches?
At the start, it was, who's this Irish guy that can't speak Spanish? But, some things transcend language. And, I could count from 1 to 10. I could say left or right in Spanish. And that was enough to script by classes to begin with. I went from Capos to Hermosa Boxing Camp.
Yep.
With
Our buddy Pancho. Yeah.
Coach Pancho. And Coach Pancho works more with professional fighters. So he does. So I'd started volunteering at Capos, volunteering at Hermosa, and then I kind of made a connection in Fight Club San Jose with Ernesto Sandoval, and he has, more mainstream high-profile fighters. But where the area I live in itself is 3.5 hours south of San Jose, so it is rural.
Right, you're right, literally in the jungle at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, I'm situated 1,000 feet up.
Yeah.
5 kilometers from the beach, in part of the Amazon. So ideal situation for a fighter to come. In his downtime, he can just sit and absorb the beauty and the peace. So, you fly down, we take you into the jungle. The residence does have Wi-Fi. It's a beautiful location, and the hard work begins, when you get there. So the idea behind Farmer Strength is it's old school type training. You're running mountains, you're working on the beach with sledgehammers and rocks. You are, buried deep in nature for the meditative parts of the workout, for your breath work. You have the ocean for recovery. You have the mineral-rich rivers up in there that we swim in for, the swimming part of the camp. So everything in it ties into my idea of what Farmer Strength is. And that is, yes, you train, but you're deep in nature. Morning start, with it being in the tropics, sunrise, sundown is the same time all year round. It never changes. So pretty much 5 a.m., we're on the mountain working. That's critical. You see that pink sunlight, that sets the tone, gets the melatonin going in your body, and that prepares you for better sleep the following night. So, we hit the mountain running. 9 o'clock, it's at my disclosure whether we hit the gym for a weight session or we go to the beach with sandbags, rocks, sledgehammers, and we work. Lunchtime sessions usually evolve around breath work, meditation, some form of recovery, and then typically at night you're up the road till Hermosa to work with Pancho and the team in the boxing scenario, or we use Capos. The very cool thing about all of this is is the exposure some of these fighters are getting to these kids down there, and the exposure the kids are getting
To the fighters.
to the fighters.
Yeah, I mean, what I took from it, look, and you can go on G's page and you can see what he's actually talking about, to visualize this where, these guys are actually swimming, in lagoons under the waterfall. They're on the beach. They're running up the mountains, literally in the jungle, with no distractions. We're sending, not only fighters, but other people that would want to go there and have this experience. But on the fighter aspect, there's no distraction. You're there to focus on getting in shape, getting ready for a fight, or, whatever it is, find yourself for before camp. You are not distracted. There's no TV. There's really limited socialization.
Yeah.
Your job is, you're pretty much every 4 hours.
Every 4 hours.
You're doing something.
Yeah, it's very intense. Ideally, I would call it a pre-camp.
Yeah.
So you come down to Costa Rica. There is a personalized chef.
Yeah, our buddy Martin, man, he's some of the dishes that he created are just out of this world.
So he's using all fresh, organic, local food. He will, he tailors it till the
diet
athlete.
For the fighter, yeah.
So we get our personalized local chef in. He'll personalize your meal plan. So it's typically, as I say, you get up, you go running. After that, breakfast. Chef comes in till the residence, cooks right in front of you. Strength and conditioning at 9, and then you're looking at lunch. After your lunch, it's I like to think of it as recovery, but the getting into nature. So sometimes us just going to the river and just chilling, breath work, the meditative part, and then early lunch, and then we're back boxing again at night.
Mm-hmm.
Some nights I do like to pull the fighter out of bed during the night. That's at my disclosure. If I want to wake you up at 2 a.m. and we go to the beach, there's no headlamps. For calibration of the eyes primarily, I like the fighter to run down the beach, just using the stars, to guide their way down it.
Right.
And to get that, ready to go at any point. So, of course, the sunlight also plays a major factor in it. It's good to see a fighter enter camp with a bit of color on his cheeks, feeling revitalized from the food, recharged from the sun, and you've seen it yourself now 3-4 times. These guys hit the ground running when they come back from Costa Rica.
Oh, they're a whole different animal. First of all, they're happy to be back after into civilization a little bit, especially Giuseppe. But it's definitely been a game changer for us. As coaches, because we've seen good results with it, but your experience and what you bring to the table is a lot of that. And tell us how you kind of created. I know it went back to the farmer end, but now you're here creating this, and now you have no real tools to do it. You're just setting it up off of nature.
Yeah, well, the whole. So let me talk about Costa Rica first. So working with the kids in Costa Rica, I fund that through apparel sales for my company. So
right now, anything that helps this program is through shirt sales, hats, whatever apparel you sell off your website gets kicked back into the program.
I just use that to cover my costs. Right. So that covers my costs for the fighters in Hermosa. That's the main thing right now.
Right.
And then I usually try to get to Cape Coast once a month now at this point. So funding it through that, funding the business through fighters coming down, and then the other avenue that I'm about to go into is for regular people to come down for this experience. On a personal retreat,
workout experience to get you out of your comfort level.
To get you out of your comfort level. And, I do have experience helping people that are trying to battle some mental health issues. People that are trying.
Yeah, we work with fighters.
Really, yeah.
We have that,
Yeah, for people that are just trying to escape the rat race.
Yeah.
And, of course I can tailor the program down. Not everyone has to train like an elite level fighter.
Yeah.
So that's the main areas right now that I'm seeking to keep the business
So,
afloat.
quick question on that. Now, I know you had Jermaine Ortiz down there, Giuseppe Cusimano, Vinny Carita. Do you change the program for the fighter?
Of course.
Or is it pretty much
But
similar?
It kind of all depends.
Do you
really.
tone it down?
It depends, yeah. For example, Jermaine happened to be in Costa Rica on vacation and got the
Right.
phone call that he had to get ready for a huge fight, and he was able to get in contact with me.
Yeah.
So that comes about quick. He just wanted to get going right away.
Mm-hmm.
So we were on the mountain running, strength and conditioning session, got him up to Hermosa so we could get some mitt work in and get going. And he was kind enough to come and speak to the kids at Capos. This was, just after he had beaten Jamal Horan. So this was phenomenal for these kids
Right.
in rural Costa Rica to have Jermaine Ortiz in front of them.
Right.
With,
Guy was fighting on ESPN,
Yeah. So, been able to connect these gyms in Costa Rica with some of these athletes is probably one of the most proudest things that I am off that Farmer Strength has been able to do, yourself included, Champs Boxing Gym.
Yeah.
We're all one big extended family.
Yeah.
Now. So it again, it depends on the athlete. So Giuseppe comes in, we know that's him prepping typically for 6 to 7 weeks of hard work on the backside of that. So it starts pretty grueling with all the fighters. Everybody faces the mountain. Anybody that's been down there and has run to the top of that mountain with me knows what I'm talking about.
Tell us about that.
The
I've heard about it. I've seen clips of it.
Yeah.
And the one factor is you run it with them.
I enjoy the run with them. It gives me an opportunity to really know what's going on in the fighter's head, especially at the start of camp, and to see
Yeah.
how serious they are about their fight. So the run itself is 8 miles straight up. It's up till about 1,500 feet, so it's not massive high altitude, but you're climbing 1,500 feet over 8 miles. So straight up, and then it's 8 back down again. There is a small coffee shop at the top of the mountain, a local Costa Rican guy makes.
Yeah.
So you do get a small coffee as a reward at the midway point.
Joey probably put that guy out of business with massive cups.
Yeah. But, it is, for me personally, like, for example, Joey's last fight, Joey made that run, I think, 3 times. And, he wanted to do the second and third time. A lot of guys do it once and are like,
Yeah.
nah. But, he done it 3 times and you could really tell where his head was at as far as, like, preparation for his fight. He wanted it. So that's everybody goes to the mountain. Again, like Jermaine, for instance, was a quick, like, week or less than that, like 4 or 5 days. It turns out he was getting ready for the Lomachenko fight. He didn't tell me at the time who it was.
Right.
I was able to do some breathing sessions with him. And I see breath work as the starting point of all fitness programs.
Yeah, we're seeing that more and more across with athletes. A lot of breath work coaches opening up and athletes working with this. Tell us a little bit about that.
For me,
For the people who don't know what breath work is.
For me, it's the most important aspect of training. If you can control the breath, you can control everything. Life itself begins and ends with the breath. So that tells you how important it is. The core muscles. All right, so being a fighter, being a high-level athlete, having a strong core is critical. So just knowing how to use your diaphragm muscle, how to properly inhale and exhale are critical. It offers up other aspects as your consciousness, so your brain can really get opened and you can start, it helps with the visualization. It helps with the recovery. It helps with sleep. You've been around Giuseppe enough now to know that, like, he becomes persistent with sleep, the deeper we get it, or the breathing, sorry, as we get deeper into
Yeah.
camp. Because
Yeah.
as these guys get more tuned in and more alert and more wired up, sleep becomes a massive issue. And sleep's the number one recovery tool we have. That's what the divine creation give us. So with Giuseppe, we live with you every night, breath session right before bedtime.
Right before bed, yeah.
Right before bedtime. So luckily I was able to connect with Jermaine for the Lomachenko fight. And in fact, the night before he fought Lomachenko, we were doing virtual breath sessions.
Yeah.
So, I was very lucky to get exposed to a fighter of that caliber.
Yeah.
And it really changed my coaching. To see someone so driven, so like locked in.
Well, that kind of ties into everything that you're doing. I mean, we know it, okay, because now working together 4 fights, we know what the preparation that we need for the fighter. We know that those 2 weeks there are going to tell us what you really are.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to tell us. They're going to expose you. Not everybody is cut for it. And once again, we don't have it in front of us. If you look at the site, look at some of the training on the beach, running in the middle of the night, in the jungle, swimming. I keep reiterating it, hitting the rocks, the sandbags on the beach. It seems like very primitive stuff, which it is, but it serves a purpose mentally and physically. Honestly, every camp that we've had Giuseppe come back from there, it's just makes our camp easier here.
Yeah.
It's like a prerequisite. You got to go there 10 days, 2 weeks, get it out of your system, and get ready to come back for the hard work.
Absolutely.
You know?
So, I've had Vincenzo Carrito down as well.
Right.
He had already flown down and had met Pancho and the guys at Hermosa and was already working by the time I got down. And he then spent a week with me.
Right.
And, similar type of stuff, 4-day sessions on the mountain, on the beach. And, he was another guy that I was fit to connect with the breath work and stuff. And, we had Martin come in and do the catered.
Yeah, I mean, look at the website, look at the food that this guy's producing. It's the freshness of the food that's there, first of all, that he has to work off of with the land. But the meals he's putting together are, second to none for a fighter or anybody looking for good nutrition at that point because, man, he's cooking with the freshest stuff. He knows what he's doing, calorie-wise, protein-wise, all the micros and everything. Great stuff. I mean, it's for us, and I talk very highly, especially, look, fighters go to camp, okay? It's hard to run camp locally. Sometimes you got to do it. But a fighter, to get out of his comfort level, I believe you got to go away. You got to be locked down. You got to be away from everything. You got to be pretty uncomfortable, like, a tiger getting ready to get let out of the cage after 8 weeks because the focus, and there's a lot of distractions today. There's no distraction with you. Social media, I mean, we talk when you're done training and, and we kind of go over what the plan is. And, we talk to Pancho, who helps, another aspect of what we have is his knowledge and his experience down there to like, okay, this is what we need. Like even he's not used to working with a guy like Giuseppe Size.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, hey, this is what we're looking for in this fight.
Yeah.
And he could help us out to prepare fighters also. But you're there now. You're in deep.
Yeah.
You're in deep now. What do you see? You're working with a lot of fighters down there now with Pancho. You've had some success with the guys from Hermosa.
Yeah.
Justin, Ziggy, and Efren?
Justin, Ziggy, and Ephraim.
Yeah.
I think collectively those guys fought in the last 15 months, probably close to 20 times.
Right.
So they did. We just got back from Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Yeah.
Guys all, got great experience down there, great exposure.
Well, they're young fighters. They're getting fights now. Justin just turned 18.
Yeah, yeah.
And what do you see with the guys there from here? What do you see with the fighters there? What is the
tremendous
difference?
hunger with these kids down here. Having worked in the U.S., a lot of kids here really don't know how lucky they have it.
Yeah.
You got gorgeous gyms. You got top line equipment. You got, simple roads that are nice to travel on.
Yeah.
So these kids are coming they have different challenges to overcome to make it. We all would love to get them to the States, for one. They face visa issues.
Yeah.
There's common practice now for fighters to go down to Central and South America for their records. I would like to be the guy that when they come to Costa Rica, it's not so easy to get a record down there. They're going to come up against hard fighters.
Well, you guys are building, Poncho and yourself. Those guys are not anybody to sleep on. They're hard working guys from, what I hear from both yous and what I see. And you know what? They're young enough, and they got you two guys to really guide them and, bring them along properly.
Yeah. So, if these kids can get up into the U.S. for sparring experience, travel experience, it's only going to enhance them.
Yeah.
And then they can bring that back to Costa Rica, and then the level of the sport enhances from that experience alone. Shipping stuff into Costa Rica can get expensive, so getting nice equipment is difficult.
Yeah.
And it seems easy because here in the U.S. you can go to Amazon and
ship it off.
Ship it overnight. It's not so easy down there. Very often I'm coming to you. Can you give me tape? You guys at Champs have been phenomenal. Again, Ian at Richmond sent them down here. So all of this helps these guys get better, and in turn that just elevates the sport itself.
Yeah.
Because the better the competition, the better the whole sport becomes. So the kids at Capos are different. That's more like youth boxing. So it is. But again, getting exposure to the Giuseppes. The first time Giuseppe came into Capos is a small fishing village.
Mm-hmm.
You had this 6'4", 240-something pound dude get out of the car with the U.S. heavyweight champion belt, and the town came to a screeching halt.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at that time, Giuseppe was on a low. He just lost to Dubois. And, man, watching him get filled up spiritually, seeing these children flock around him,
right,
was just as valuable as running on the mountain or any training we were going to do. There was a energetic exchange that's priceless.
Yeah, well, see, that's where it comes with, with fighters, not only fighters, but all athletes, right? There's a method to the madness of the training. It's not just the physical aspect of putting an athlete through training out there and getting him ready for an event, whether it's boxing, football, basketball, baseball. We have to delve in to their minds today. We have to delve into their psyches, what makes them tick, what brings them joy, what doesn't. Because, I think today more so, everybody's dealing with more issues. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. We have insecurities, we have self-doubt, we have a lot of stuff. And I think people forget with these athletes, they're human, number one, and they go through shit like anybody else. Yeah. They just don't put it out there as much, or you don't hear about it because it's just the way it is. But the coaches have to work through this.
Yeah.
And environments like yours, training sessions like that, people like you, we have to, in my belief, not only prepare them physically, but mentally.
Correct. So, I have, even with the style of training I do, it is so intense that, for that 7-10 day, 2-week period, that it is critical that you can have these moments of, you meet people in the community down there. You, as I say, the moments where you can just sit in nature and just absorb. That Costa Rica itself is, very biodiverse. There's animals everywhere. And you really get to realize that you're part of a much bigger system, and it's not just us here running after gold coins, but you're part of, the huge divine creation of nature. So I think that adds to it allows these guys to get a little bit more out of themselves in regards to training 4 times a day. But when you're downtime, you're really down. You're not laying in your house in New York City on your cell phone with constant back and forth chatter on your phone, and social media has us constantly connected. So it is a special place to train.
You're detoxing from that because for 2 weeks, you're getting your ass kicked every 4 hours.
Yeah.
There's no time to play around. And you know what? Like, look, you've seen 2 different things. Giuseppe came to you after a loss in his career, which, a lot of people might have just said, fuck it, I'm not doing anything for a while, whatever. He pulled his pants up, went back to work, and we know, because we've been there with him, how he's evolved.
Yeah.
From the day he stepped to you to the day he is now. That I'm proud of, not only as a coach, forget about winning and losing fights, but he has evolved as a person, and he has found himself as that. You've also had Jermaine Ortiz, guys fighting a high-level fight, going against Lomachenko. These are things that guys need to be and find themselves and need that support that, hey, I could weather through it. If I can make it through this, all right, and I'm getting through this unlimited, no TV, no social interaction, no going out. I'm eating what they put in front of me. The refrigerator's not filled with potato chips or cakes or stuff like that. It's, not like here. And, you can mentally get ready. What are you going to have in a fighter? I mean, that's what I look at. That guy's going to be a monster by the time he gets ready.
Yeah, in today's world, it's actually a luxury to be fit. I see it as a luxury to be fit to turn your cell phone off for 1 week and just focus on you.
Yeah, it's hard.
You rest, and when I come around that corner and knock the window, it's go time. And that itself, just been fit to disconnect from your phone for a week. The gains that you will get from that cannot be measured.
Yeah, I think there's 2 parts to that, right? I think the higher the fighter you are, you can do that.
Yeah.
You can disconnect, okay? Because you can let your people run levels for you, right? The disconnecting part, if you're an up-and-coming fighter, and even if you're a high level, it's a business now. That phone is business.
Yeah.
You're on your phone doing business. You're on your phone, documenting camps, whatever, where you're training, whatever you're doing, sponsors, this and that, because that's the way it is right now, unfortunately. But the disconnect part, I like it. I mean, the lockdown, shut down the social media, try to limit the interaction with everybody.
Yeah. A lot of these fighters now, like some of them, I actually manage their social media for them.
Yeah.
And again, that was gained through trust. Through some of these guys will say to you, just take my phone.
Yeah.
Help me out. If you want, if you're going to take a picture of me running, here you go. So I've gained trust in that regard with some of these guys. I myself, I get what you mean, business through it. I've had to dip my toe into the virtual world.
Yeah, both of us.
Yeah.
We're old school guys. We're look where we are today, utilizing social media, podcast, everything else across it. It's a big thing, especially more so for you, where your proximity is. You're not in a major city. You're not in the States, and, nothing against Costa Rica. You're not in New York City. You're not in Boston. You're not in L.A., where there's droves of people to, know who you are and what you do.
Yeah. I've virtually coached with Richmond Boxing Club twice a week with their amateur team. They actually have a pro down there, Josiah Giles. And I've been working with Josiah now for over a year, virtually. I myself, at the start, thought that was a crazy man's game. But with the use of modern technology, cameras, it's actually turned out to be very effective. Josiah's a 5-0 fighter now. The gym itself had Isaiah Rodriguez, 10-year-old won the Junior
Yeah.
Olympics. So
And you know something, not to cut you off, for Ian, he's running this gym out of his garage, out of his house, free of charge.
yeah, yeah.
This is Richmond Boxing in Richmond, Virginia. Ian Patterson's the coach. Hear it again. National champion at 10, 5-0 pro fighter right now. Other aspiring fighters out of a gym, out of his own garage in his house.
Yeah, he opened up a gym. Ian's, a key part of why I do what I do. He was the guy that convinced me to stay coaching. He was like, because I had questioned at the start. I was like, am I sane? And he was like, you need to be in this.
No, we're not saying as coaches.
Yeah.
Because you know what? You're right. Because, look, the passion is the passion. You came in like I came into boxing, okay? With a passion to help, to be a part of something. No other reason that you came in. How can I help? Well, this is my gift of what I do and how I could help.
Absolutely.
And you didn't ask anything of it, okay? And this is what boxing does. Boxing either nurtures you or spits you out.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're being nurtured by different people, different coaches, and now look where you are with that. But, I get it.
Yeah, so Ian opened up a gym out of a two-car garage in Richmond, Virginia, and he was the one who introduced me to virtual coaching. Really, he bought a camera that would, move around the gym, like hands-free, could zoom in on athletes while they were training, and he runs a tight ship. It is free to train there, providing you survive the first month. It is extremely tough for you. If you quit, you quit on your own accord.
That's yours. That's your business. Yeah, not him.
So it is. But, the line for success has been steadily going up.
Yeah.
And because it is a gym with limited spots, the kids that are there are determined to stay there.
Yeah, you got to earn your spot there.
You got to earn your spot.
You got to earn your spot, and you got to keep it because you're the only one that could lose it.
You're the only one that can lose it. So, again, that's something I'm proud to be associated with for farmers.
Yeah, I mean, talking to Ian, I haven't met him yet, but talking to him between you, utmost respect for him, great boxing knowledge.
Yeah. I've been very, very blessed. And, as I say, I was a late student of the game, but so far I've been very blessed with the mentors that I have established around myself in the sport. Specifically the boxing coaches. Yeah,
this is, this is the same, boxing is a small world. And if you're in it, there's a lot of helpful people that you learn from.
Yeah.
And that help you along, and you make your relationships, and you keep those relationships, and, and you try to help each other. That's how I learned. You're learning that, and we're still learning it. I mean, look, wherever I go, I'm looking, to build a relationship for the gym, for our fighters, for whatever the case may be, and who knows? People ask me, well, what do you do with this? What do you do? Here's G's number. Call him.
Yeah.
He handles the conditioner.
Yeah.
This is what it is. I don't know if it's for you. It might not be for you. It's for us. We did it. We've been successful with it. The man knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And that just builds off of it. But where do you see Farmer Strength going?
Farmer Strength runs off a very small vision. When I started it, I said to myself, sell 1 million T-shirts and coach as many people as you can for free.
Right.
And that was it. But I really see it branching into a apparel company, I hope, so I can get residual income coming on.
Right.
And
so we need you guys buying the T-shirts because we're a little short of the 1 million.
Yeah.
So get on his website. We'll give you the info at the end of the show and, give us a little support here.
Yeah. So, an apparel company, think Gymshark meets Carhartt.
Yeah.
And of course you got the coaching end of it for athletes and for amateur people that want to train like a pro athlete. And then, as I say, I'm going to start helping out. I want to help people that have mental health issues or just need to escape, the busy Western world. I can tailor the package down. I don't want to call it a retreat, but something similar on those
Something like
lines.
that.
Yeah, so people can come down and work on breath work, meditation, what area of fitness you need to improve on. Of course, some people are just starting, well, middle of the road people, and then
Mm-hmm.
higher road. So that's where I see the business going, really. The apparel, athlete, and then regular people.
And the
come
regular
down.
people from there.
Yeah.
Your style is a lot different than a lot of strength people and conditioning coaches.
It, I
I've been around a lot of different people, do a lot of research. We read like each other. We look. This guy's doing this guy's doing that. The people you're working with, they question your what your method is because it is a little unique.
for me, I always say like strength and conditioning has been around since the day we first swung an axe at a tree. So it
Mm-hmm.
has. So in today's world, in the social media world, there's a lot of like gimmicky stuff, but the basic principles are always there. You're gonna push, pull, carry,
Right.
run. Um, I add in the aspect that for you to fully understand the violence to the punch, you got to understand the zen of meditation. So I start with the breath work. Add in the meditation, the making sure your sleep routine's right, making sure you're deeply connected with nature. Um, you climb up the mountain with me. You're in a volcanic, mineral-rich river. Just sitting in that thing for 20 minutes is going to do you so much good that again it can't be measured. So far, has anyone questioned my methods? No, not really. Not really.
So they come in there open mind and say, "I'm ready.
Yeah,
Take me to the promised land."
just do it, and a lot of people end up loving it.
Yeah.
They really do, and a lot of guys have left Costa Rica with just a positive.
Right.
I've gained massive positive feedback from it,
Yeah.
and a lot of them have felt like they've had an edge. Especially as they hit the
Yeah.
camp.
Yeah. Especially the fighters. If the fighters win fights and then they feel good and they make weight, they're thinking that they got an edge
Yeah.
there. What was the fighters' response right away when you started to bring this in? Because now they're not really privy to, strength and condition coaches. It's all real primitive, probably what they're doing and what they have ability-wise. What was it like now you put a program in place? How did they respond to that?
At the end of the day, like the best place for a fighter to train is fighting, or in the ring. If I can assist them to get, I see myself just as a part of the team. I fit
Right.
in with you, and at the end of the day, results are what counts. Especially at the higher end. And every time I've worked with you and the guys, or Ian and the guys, Pancho on the team,
Mm-hmm.
the results have been mostly wins.
Yeah.
So they have, and whatever losses we did take, we all took as a team, and
Right.
we all learned and we all grew.
Listen, we're all learning, right? Look,
Yeah.
lockdown is preparation. What it takes to prepare a fighter or an athlete, people don't see.
Yeah,
I talk about this constantly. People don't see the work. They don't see what you do in between, the night of the fight, the night of the game, or whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. And there's a lot of trials and tribulation, but there is a science to what we do,
yeah,
believe it or not. And there are now, you and I, we're both planners. We plan out, we write, we talk, we discuss. We have analytics. The
Yeah.
numbers don't lie type of thing.
yeah,
The work don't lie.
Yeah.
If you're putting in the work,
yeah,
we're going to know it. You're going to know it.
yeah, absolutely.
But if you're not, you're gonna struggle
Yeah,
because it's not gonna get easier as the days go on with us.
no, definitely not.
But so do you see yourself back in the States?
Right now, Costa Rica is, the moment. There for this foreseeable future. At the end of the day, I want Farmer Strength to be a legit farm that people come to,
Right.
where the food is growing right there,
The whole
where
gambit.
there's a barn for the conditioning, strength and conditioning stuff. There's dorms where people sleep. You come in and you just focus on
Full blown camp of condition and everything else.
yeah.
Now, have you had some, besides athletes, have you had some everyday people coming down and experience what you have to do?
I have, yeah. I have had a couple of friends come down,
Right.
my friends fly down and do the week with me in Costa Rica. It is a unique place. It's very, very popular for yoga retreats and stuff. And
Okay.
Spiritual, people seeking spiritual openness. So I've had people come down, train with me for the week,
Yep.
eat good, kind of tailored it back to like things like jungle hiking on the rivers. And just by doing those aspects, you're going to get a deeper connection. As I say, if you go, because one of the trails is about 8-9 miles up through the jungle, you ain't getting cell phone reception for 12 hours. So you do at least get to set the phone down for those 12 hours.
Right.
And connect. So, the last guy that was down, I think he's now looking for property in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
That's the type of impact it really had on him.
Yeah.
So, again, there is a lot of positive feedback.
Yeah, well, you have the area to do it right there, the weather, everything is right set. The climate for the fighters to come in there and be, or anybody just to be out of the day-to-day grind and focus on what their task is right there, and what you're offering.
Yeah.
As far as fighters, the young guys that you have there, what do you see for them coming up? And you got some talent down there right now with Pancho.
Both Pancho and Hermoso, those guys are all very, very talented.
Yeah.
I think they'll all probably fight one more time, at least between now and the end of the year. I know those boys are working hard right now on figuring out how to get visa entry into the United States. If any of your listeners have any expertise on the subject, we're all ears.
Hit us up. Yeah, absolutely.
We're all ears. And that's the goal, would be for those guys to fight again before the end of the year and then try to get them up.
Get them in the States.
Yeah. And that's why Farmer Strength, again, if a fighter comes down there, these are things that we can offer specifically for the lighter weight guys like bantamweight, lightweight, middleweight. You can get work down there. And
it's a full blown. See, that's what I don't think people understand. It's a full blown camp.
Yeah.
From end to end. It's just not you're going there. You're getting the full blown. Where you can have the boxing end of it,
yeah,
nutrition end of it, and the conditioning and the mental end of it. Also the recovery.
Yeah.
Which is big today.
Yeah.
So what do you, besides the breathing, what are you doing for recovery? Which is, these athletes today, especially the way you work them.
Yeah.
We have our network of what we do with recovery up here.
Yeah.
Yours is a little different in your area, so what do you utilize?
Well, from my experience, the number one tool is sleep, right?
Right.
So for recovery, ensuring the fighter gets proper sleep. Very often I find the breath work at bedtime is one of the best tools that we have. I believe in the ocean, the salt water itself. Again, your skin is your biggest organ, so it's going to absorb those salts that you're losing throughout the day in the training,
right,
just by sitting in the ocean. The mineral-rich rivers that I talk about, just chilling out in them. They, for me, can be just as effective as an ice bath, especially if you've just ran 16 miles and you're plopping straight into it and you're just chilling out.
Yeah.
The sun itself is huge, sitting in the sun. There is access to ice baths. Sauna you don't particularly need. You are in the jungle.
You have the heat.
So heat's not an issue. When I'm in the US, I'm a fan of the compression stuff. I really do like it. And then on the fly stuff like voodoo floss, bands, massage gun when needed. And then having dedicated recovery sessions for sports stretching. I think those are critical, especially when the running intensity is ramped up on the mountains. The mountain changes your style of running. It forces you onto your toe more. It's hard to come down a mountain on your heels.
Yeah.
So you're on your toes. If you're running the mountain correctly, it's going to be a core workout. So it is, because you have to break.
What's the time frame up and down?
It might, like, for me,
Average.
fastest, probably 2.5 hours it can be.
Up
No, it'll take
or
you
total?
about total 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Depends on how much coffee you have.
Depends how much coffee you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is, there's enough elevation shifts there that you definitely feel it, the pressure on your heart. It's such a steep incline of grade. At times it's just getting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah. Anybody ever want to quit on you?
No, everybody's pushed through. I don't let them quit.
I know you don't let them quit.
Yeah. But no, so far so good. It's a cup of coffee is always worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hear the complaints on the way up.
The complaints, yeah. But
What was it like the first time Joey ran up the hill?
I
Like,
think,
you know where the end is. Like, 8 miles in your mind, it's like, and you're going, there's no landmarks. You're just running.
Yeah. I think he was kind of like what the moment. So because it's pretty like a steady incline for a while, and then you turn.
Yeah, who's watching out for the animals? And we talk about this.
That's just part of the game.
Yeah, that ain't part of the game.
Yeah. That just heightens your senses.
Yeah.
We had a couple of funny stories where we had ran across a river down there, and it's a beach run, and towards the end we went through the river up to your knees, got to the other side, and the fisherman came over to the two of us. He's like, "You two are crazy." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "There's been a saltwater crocodile in that river all morning." So I just nicely said to Giuseppe, I was like,
Run faster.
I was like, "Conquering your fears, that's what this is about." So, but it's just part of it, you know what I mean? It's part of the beauty of the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's next for you now?
I am
You're
actually
back?
heading to Richmond
Yeah.
tomorrow. I've got wrapping up camp with Josiah Giles. Josiah's fighting August 3rd in the Sports and Entertainment Arena in Washington,
D.C.
It's on a Davis Promotions.
Okay.
So we're going to wrap up camp with him, and then it'll be back to Costa Rica. And
Yeah, you've had a busy month. You've been all around, went to Ireland, went to London, here, Richmond. What's next in Costa Rica now? What is the plan when you get back?
The plan is I'm
you-
working on a retreat for December as well. So anybody that is interested in just coming down there
Right.
for an escape, if you're suffering from any mental health stuff, and you just need a break from the rat race, you can go on my website, farmerstrength.com, on my Instagram, farmer.strength, and shoot me a DM, and I'll be more than happy to give you, information on what's available and what I'm offering. It's, you just fly into San Jose, and from there, everything will be handled.
You'll be handling it from there.
Yeah.
Fighters coming up other than the local guys? Anything on the horizon?
As said, right now I've got 3 pros that I'm working with at Hermosa, Josiah, and then I work with you guys, and that's a kind of full book as far as,
Yeah.
you can only spread yourself so far before someone's their quality of services
Yeah.
will go down.
So, as Farmer Strength grows, how do you see it besides being on a farm? Because you can't be everywhere.
Yeah.
Who are you gonna look to cultivate next to work with you as far as doing this? As you're gonna lead it, you'll set the process, but you cannot work with everyone.
You can't work with everyone,
Yeah.
correct. And, part of it, I do want to be that element of exclusiveness about it,
Right.
that, if I'm giving you my energy, you're getting it all.
Yeah.
There's people that I've met and have worked with that have potential to just come on board with me.
Yeah.
Because not everyone's going to cut it. And some
No.
people are going to make it as a good coach. So always keeping an active eye out on talent and seeing the people they want to be part of it.
Yeah.
And just growing it from there.
Now, we talked a little bit before you came in. one of you, forget the fighter success story because, that's a different thing. You have a gentleman that we talked about, a young kid in the gym who came in that you're working with, 15-year-old kid right now, who you've kind of taken from the beginning.
Yeah, well, this kid was like 300 pounds, and he had started training boxing.
Yeah.
And he lost weight, and then it was one of the times Giuseppe was there, and Giuseppe was doing a kind of a meet and greet with the kids. So about a half dozen of the kids got to spar Giuseppe. So they all geared up, got in the ring with him, and this kid got into the ring, and they all done 2 minutes with Giuseppe. There was a class afterwards. This kid, it was his first time doing a strength and conditioning class with me, and I think a penny dropped with him. There's levels to like training, and he seems to be extremely hungry. He came from a background of being overweight and dealing with what comes with that, people picking on you and different stuff.
Yeah.
And then he started boxing, and he's got locked in. So he asked me to train him, and I said, of course, get permission from your boxing coach. So Coach Milena at Capos, wonderful coach, she said, yep. So I said to him, you can come and train with me. It's like, it's no cost. It's like, providing you don't miss. He's never missed. He keeps showing up.
Right. How many times a week you train him?
He trains with me 3 times a week. So
Walk us through him. Because I've seen a little bit of the end result right now. Not really the end result. There's still more, but what you took him down to almost 200 pounds now, right?
He's probably below 200 pounds now, and he's shredded.
Yeah.
He's getting shredded. He's gaining confidence from just my own experience.
Yeah.
And he has got phenomenally strong legs because of the weight that he used to carry. So like I always say, like even when you're out of something negative, there's always something good, because it's hard to train legs like that.
Yeah.
So it is, and he's on his journey now of, becoming an amateur fighter. Again, he's another kid that's going to have to get to the States. He's a big boy for Costa Rica.
Yeah, but you connected with him. You were able to connect and he was able to buy into what you were selling.
He was able to, yeah. And, it's been awesome watching that journey unfold and watching him get stronger and stronger. And he's now working with Pancho as well. So he is, and if he stays the course, his future can be extremely bright.
Yeah, and I think that's, these are the stories, like, for us as coaches. Look, coaching a pro at any level is a cherry. If you're able to coach a pro athlete, you've been blessed.
Yeah.
It's an experience that I don't take lightly, and I know you don't take it lightly either, what we do. But, the wins for us, at least, is kids like this that you see that grow into something. Maybe they're not going to be a fighter. Maybe they are. But, you take kids today who have distractions, who have issues, have no motivation. There's a million things going on today in this world.
Yeah.
And you can take somebody in and put that kind of dedication in and work.
Yeah.
That gives us satisfaction as coaches.
Yeah, it's kind of the old saying about planting seeds and bearing fruit that you may never actually see.
Yeah.
But leaving an impact, leaving your impact on the world in a positive way. And as you said, the boxing, it's serious sport, but outside of that, there's a bigger thing going on.
Yeah, no, 100%. And look, these kids are not all going to be fighters. Maybe one out of 1,000 might be, but to leave an impact on them personally, for that kid to come back and say, hey, man, it was really good what you did to push me, to train me, to teach me, and, almost mentor them in a way to be better. Be better people, be better students, be better whatever it is that, and we see this, the boxing gym is a diversified area. We have all different types of people come in the boxing gym.
Yeah.
And you usually see, some high-functioning people. They're not all fighters. They're there doing whatever they do. Their discipline that it comes with it and training. So, that's a great story. I mean, I think out of all of them right now, I'm anxious to see what he does in another year, how he stays with you. And that's just a great testimony to you and the program that you set up over there. So, look, at the end of the day, we talked about, Farmer Strength is going to be funded on the shirt and apparel sales. Whatever our people out there, look, you hit his website, we're wearing his gear. It's good gear. Some great sayings on the shirt. Some really good choices. Give it a look. Drop a few dollars there. It's definitely going to help some people out who could use it. And, I'm a big believer of it because I've seen success with our fighters. And honestly, I don't think, for me, if it's possible to have a fighter go to you and he's willing and we can make it all happen, that experience, you're going to come back hungry as, ready to go. It's been proven. Couple of things, I kind of finish up here with, and we've been through the foxholes, you and I.
Yeah.
I kind of ask a couple of hit questions of people, some bullets.
Yeah.
If you were in a foxhole, who you picking with you? Who's sitting next to you?
Yourself or Ian Patterson?
You got to pick one.
I'll pick Ian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, shout out to Ian. 3 people you get to have dinner with, dead or alive. Who are they?
It would have to be Teddy Atlas, Michael Jordan, and Alex Ferguson.
That's good. You hit them pretty quick. You knew what you. I got people stuttering over here about
I watch your podcast.
Who you want to?
Just if I could take a sip of the juice that those guys had and learn from it, it would be awesome.
Yeah, and sit there and take a little energy out of them and see what you can do, what they did, and and hear the different stories. But
sip of the special sauce.
Yeah. G, I appreciate you coming.
Awesome.
I look forward to, working with you again in the future, and our constant conversations for us to be better, both of us, means so much. One thing, you're blessed with people that you meet in your life. And you're one of them.
Thank you.
Excuse me. But shout out to our sponsors, Nirvana, Superwater. They're actually in a new logo, so sorry, guys. Waiting on some more water. But anyway, our athletes all train on this. And great recovery water. Got the HMB in there. Once again, please go to the website, farmerstrength.com.
Yeah.
Look at it. Apparel. Keep an eye on this. And if you're ready for a retreat or you're an athlete out there looking to make a change in your game, hit my man G up. He will definitely get you right. And we'll see you next week on Coach's Corner.